I followed my dreams and opened an antique store to have adventures and spend time as a family. Sometimes you have to climb a mountain and open some new doors to find the treasures inside. This is our life, this is our adventure, and this is Curiosity Inc. Last week we bought a camper, a 1972 Airstream land yacht. It was in surprisingly good condition considering it was in a farm field for over 17 years. We dragged it out, pulled it home, and now we're starting to get the exterior ready to shine up. First we had to strip off the old faded clear coat, which was a big job in itself, and now it's time to get ready for polish. So stay tuned, buckle up, and watch as we transform this worn out trailer into a shiny gem.
So this is the one we're going to be using today. This is their 2FC. I'll have a look inside. So, look at that.
Is that what makes it shiny?
Yeah, that's what makes it shiny. At least we hope so. I'm going to try it out. Do you want to see what it looks like before and I'll come show you what it looks like after? Okay, let's go look at how rough it is. Okay, honey, so do you see up at the very top how it's all kind of worn away and looks darker? That's the part we're going to try polishing today. So do you think that stuff's going to help it?
Yes.
Yeah? Okay. I like your optimism. So that's what Dad's going to be doing this morning. Let's give it a try. So their product says that it's good for heavy oxidization and scratch removal. Well, that's definitely what I have going on up here. Have a look. This finish up top is gross. It's all oxidized. It's worn like this because that's where the clear coat had peeled and then the air got to the aluminum underneath. And it has not been polished in a really long time, probably since this thing was brand new. So we're gonna attempt to get this spot looking a little bit better today. And for this job, I'm using my trusty DeWalt polisher. Should do the trick. So I've got a nice cotton batting pad on there, and then I've got the buffing pad for later, but we're gonna use the more aggressive pad for this stuff. So we're gonna get some polish applied on the camper and tear into it with the polisher a little bit. So I'm just gonna apply a little bit with my brush here on the side. It says to apply sparingly. I'm just gonna put a little dab on there for now until I figure out how this stuff is gonna work. And just putting a little bit on there. I'll work that around with the buffer. Okay, well that's already a pretty big noticeable difference in that one spot we did. I'm gonna keep working it. Okay, so here's the spot we haven't polished. This is only after probably about 30 seconds already. And here's the spot we have. Notice the difference. Looking really good. So this is gonna turn out fantastic. This is already just with the first grade of polish. It's looking way better. And as I'm polishing, I notice I've got a few scratches that are kind of deep, probably from tree branches and stuff over the years. So we're gonna see if we can't get these scratches out, or at least improve them. The way this is looking so nice, I hate to have an imperfection like that. So I'm gonna try putting a little bit more polish in that spot and cutting it in that area. Okay, so well, the scratches aren't gone. They are way better. I'm gonna keep going around on here and do this first pass, and I have to remember this is just the first bit of product on here, but already seeing some good improvement. And we've had just the weirdest weather. We had snow yesterday, and now it looks like we've got a thunderstorm rolling in today. It is warm out, thankfully, but I'm gonna try and get as much done as I can before that rain hits. So I figure I'm gonna do one of the most visible spots on this whole thing, and that's the corner, and I think that's the part that I'm most excited about because I don't know, it's just got that nice curve to it. It should show off the shine really nicely. So I'm gonna start on the corner here and hopefully get that done before those dark clouds hit me. And I can really feel it grabbing on this corner. It's in, it got a lot more oxidization on it than the other spot. So it's gonna take a little bit more work. Okay, so here's the update. I am making some good progress here. I've started on the top, as you can see up top there, and I'm working my way slowly down. One thing I noticed though is that there's still a little bit of residue, a little bit of clear coat left in places that I'm gonna have to take off before I tackle these sides. So I'm gonna do as much as I can. It's starting to rain, so I may have to tackle this again tomorrow, but we'll try and get at least a little bit more done on the roof here before I call it quits for the day. And even with just a little bit of work, you can see the before and how it's coming out with a little bit of polish after. So I'm going to try and carry some of this polishing over and get it on the other side. But look how rough that was. It felt like sandpaper, and it's starting to come out really nice and smooth. So lots of work left to do, but sure is starting to look nice. So honey, what do you think?
It's shiny.
Yeah, is it a lot shinier than before?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, and we haven't even put the final shine on it. So you were right, it's looking better. Dad's got a ways to go. I have to work my way all the way down and all the way over, but you can see, look at the difference. Look at the reflection there. Ooh, I can see you like a mirror. Oh, I love you, honey. The reason I'm using a brush is so I can be a little bit more selective with where this polish is going and the quantity that I'm putting on. I don't want to overdo it and clog up my buffer, so just doing it in small doses along the way. So put a little bit on and then buff it off. Well, this is looking better. I've got a long ways to go, as you can see. I've kind of cut all the way down on the front here a little bit, so I'm going to try and round it off on the bottom there, but looking pretty good. Okay, so I have gone through about 2/3 of a pound of the polish, the coarse polish for the trailer. I've done the entire top, I've done part of the front, and when I say done, I mean I've put a first coat on. You can definitely see the difference here between the side that I've done and the side that I haven't. It's like night and day, but there's still a lot more to go. So I'm gonna go inside, take a little bit of a break, come back out and tear back into the side here behind me and try and get the first pass done on that. Work a little bit onto the door. So it's coming out much shinier. There's a few spots here where there's a little bit of remaining clear coat that I'm gonna have to take off with some paint stripper. Wasn't really visible before I started, but that's no big deal. But way smoother to the touch, looking fantastic. And I've reapplied a little bit more paint stripper in the few spots where the clear coat was still kind of sticking on, or I needed it off. Why they clear coated this thing? Well, I know why they did it. It's just a big pain in the butt to get it off. So day one of polishing, and I am exhausted. My hands are still kind of shaking from the motion of the polisher, but the product is working really well. I did the first pass on it, so as you can see, it's coming out pretty shiny already. So have a little bit more to do to touch it up. I've got basically half the trailer done with one first pass right now. So tomorrow's gonna be a new day, and we're gonna get cracking at it again tomorrow morning. So the front of the cab here has had the most damage due to rock chips, so I'm actually having to sand it in varying degrees, starting with 120 and then working my way up to 1000 grit with a wet sand before I polish it, just to get a lot of these chips out. But it's not going to be perfect because some of them are dents, and to remove the dents properly you have to remove the skin and pound it all out. So we're going to do the best we can to brighten this guy up on a budget here. But before I wet sand, I'm just going to show you how well this 2FC, this heavy oxidization stuff works. I've sanded this right now with our first pass of 120 grit. I'm going to apply a little bit and buff it off just to show you the difference. And as you're polishing, you're gonna find that you have little spots of residue where it just wouldn't come off. So what do? You can use, there's a few things you could use. WD-40 works, but it leaves a bit of a film behind. But they've thought of this. They have a product, they call it New Image. This is what they recommend. So we're gonna try a little bit of this on a cloth and see how it does for removing this leftover polish. So I've applied a little bit to the end of the rag here. And what we're gonna do is come up to a spot. You can kind of see where the dark residue is. And we're just gonna gently apply that. You can see it's working its way off. I'm gonna do the one next to it as well, since I have some extra polish on there. And then we're gonna wipe that clean. And it pretty much got rid of all of it. So I'll have to do a little bit more buffing, but cleans it up nicely. That one came out pretty good. So I've got to go around to all these little dark spots like this and wipe them down and clean them up. If you're not convinced that this stuff is working, just check out that shine. It is just the first pass, looking super great. Really happy with how this is turning out. I still have a long way to go, but as you can see, it's really starting to take shape. So I'm going to continue working down here, getting the last bit of the back of the trailer done here. So that's kind of our before we polish it, and then after will be super shiny like a mirror. So looking pretty good. Finally, on to the next step, which is 2C. That's the oxidization removal and repolish. And then after this, it will be the final coat after this will be the one that protects it and gives it its mirror-like finish. Mind you, it's looking pretty mirror-like already, but I imagine it's gonna get a lot shinier. So on to purple. And I'm also switching out to a new pad for the new polish. So this is kind of the finish before I take it to the next grade. And then when I go over to the door, you can kind of see just how clear that is. So that's before I do the second pass of polish, and that's after. So pretty big difference. This isn't even the final polish yet. There's the kids coming home from school. Hey guys, how was school today?
Good.
So you gotta tell me, honey, how does the trailer look?
Better.
Shiny.
Yeah, we got the neighbor kids in the back too. So how's it look, Abigail?
Good.
Yeah, what do you think, sweetie?
It's a reflection boat.
A reflection boat, pretty much. Well, the polish is great, but this stuff, it's a lifesaver. I actually looked online to try and find something that would take the black polish off other than this, and people recommend things like WD-40 and other stuff, but they leave a film. This stuff, if just a little dab, and let me show you what it does. Find a little spot here. Okay, there's a spot where there's some polish residue. It just is a polish residue hound. It just eats that away like nobody's business. And if you've ever worked with polishing aluminum, you know how difficult it is to get this residue off normally, unless you have this stuff. Look at that. And voila, it's gone. So pretty cool. I'm gonna go around and do all these little spots where the polish kind of gets caked up from the machine, but really impressed with their polish remover. It's outstanding. So this is my friend Jason. Jason, how long have I known you for now? Grade 7, so that's been like 3 years. More like almost 30, yikes. So Jason's helping out with the polishing. I feel like this is a Karate Kid moment, except you're gonna do a lot of work for me, but not know any karate by the end of it. Jason's son, very good. So the sun has gone down. It's the end of the day. The Airstream is looking fantastic. Thanks to my friend Jason coming by and helping me out. So we'll check on it again in the morning. But for now, we're gonna call it a night. A long first day and just about done. So there's a bit more for me to finish up, but this is all I'm gonna do for now. It's starting to rain, and this rain is gonna turn into snow tomorrow. So that might be all I can get done for this season, but there is a noticeable difference. The polish, well, thank you Nuvite for sending me the polish to try out. It worked fantastic, no issue. I can't imagine a polish working any better than what theirs did. If I had to do it again, there's a couple things I'd do different. One is I'd probably cover myself a little bit better. I was wearing glasses. I would have worn a respirator. In fact, that's recommended. And I probably wouldn't have used the orbital polisher for as long as I did. I worked it for about 14 hours straight, and my hands were a little bit swollen after all that. So I'm gonna have to take a day or so to recover. That said, I'm a novice at this. I've never tried it before. This is not your typical kind of do-it-yourself job. I'd probably leave something like this to a professional if you can. If you want to do it yourself, it is possible. But certainly appreciate you guys watching these videos. I'm pretty happy with the results. It turned out pretty good. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. You can check us out online at curiosityedmonton.ca, on Facebook and Instagram under Curiosity Inc. Thanks again, guys, and we'll see you all soon. Bye for now.